Okay, so you're looking at your product listing, but instead of a price and an add to cart button like you're used to seeing, you see this, see all buying options. If this is happening to you, there is a problem, but it's not the type of issue you probably think it is. In this video, I'll show you why this happens, even if you're the only seller of your own product, and I'll walk you through the exact steps to determine the true underlying problem and how to fix it. Amazon evaluates every product that's being offered for sale against a set of requirements before it decides whether to show that add to cart button. Amazon calls this the featured offer. A lot of us in the industry call it the buy box. Now, Amazon doesn't really seem to use the term buy box anymore, but I'm still going to use it in this video because that's what I'm used to saying, and a lot of people in the industry use that terminology. Now, there's two situations where the buy box often comes up in conversation. Now, you have the first is when multiple sellers are listed on the same product. In this situation, Amazon looks at each seller's offer, their price, their shipping speed, their seller account metrics, and decides which one, if any, get the featured offer with the add to cart button. So if you're winning the buy box and there's multiple sellers, then when somebody clicks add to cart, it's your product that gets added to the cart. Whoever's winning the buy box is the one who gets the sale for that particular customer. Now, the second situation is different, and this is the situation that this video is about. This is when you're the only seller of your own listing, your product, your brand, nobody else is selling it. A lot of brands assume that in this situation, you'd automatically win the buy box or you'd automatically get the featured offer, but that's not how it works. Even with zero competing sellers, Amazon still evaluates your offer, so your price, your seller account history, your shipping speed, all those types of things. They run it against their set of requirements, and their algorithm will decide if you meet the threshold to be eligible to win the buy box. And when you're not, that's when this situation happens, and nobody for that listing is winning the buy box. Now, your listing isn't flagged, it isn't in violation of anything. Customers can still find it, click into it, and buy it through the See All Buying Options button. However, when this happens, your conversion rate drops very drastically, and you won't be able to run sponsored product ads. Now, there's a lot of possible causes, and you're going to need to understand them all in order to analyze and diagnose why you're not winning the buy box in this particular situation. Even if some of these don't apply to you this time around, it's actually really good information to know if you're going to be selling on Amazon, as you'll be able to avoid these situations in the future. Now, in most cases, Amazon doesn't tell you what is causing the issue. The listing just shows See All Buying Options with nothing explaining why. However, in some cases, Amazon does show you a reason directly on the listing page. For example, right here, sometimes you'll see something like high price. If you see that, the cause is confirmed and you can go straight to fixing that specific issue. But most of the time, you won't get a stated reason, and when that happens, this becomes a longer diagnostic process. You're going to go through the list of possible causes, figure out which ones are most likely for your situation, and work through them from most likely to least likely until the featured offer comes back. Before you go down the list, there are two places in Seller Central that can point you toward the most likely cause. You're going to want to analyze these to help you find out some more information. The first is your business reports. Now go to the detail page, sales and traffic by child item, and look for the featured offer percentage column. You may need to go into the side menu and add the column or show it in your chart so you can see it. This shows you how often you're winning the featured offer. Anything above 90% is totally fine. If that number has dropped, this report will show you when it dropped, and that helps you line this up with whatever else changed during that time. Now, this doesn't show you the buy box percentage within the last 2 days. So you only see this if you're looking back farther than that. If it shows a low buy box in the last couple of days, just ignore that. That's not giving you accurate information yet. Instead, just find the day when the buy box percentage dropped, and that tells you when the problem happened. And you can figure out what else happened during that same time. Don't worry, if you're on a new seller account and you've never won the buy box, I'm going to get to you. The second place I want you to look to gather some information is the Manage Inventory page, and go to the product and then click View Reference Prices. Now, if Amazon is showing a reference price here or anything that's lower than what you're charging, then the issue is probably price related. From there, you need to figure out where that lower reference price is coming from and address it. Now you've got an idea of when this happened and you've gathered some basic information. I'm going to list through the common actions that could have caused this. The first one is if the price is higher on Amazon than on other platforms. If this product is being sold anywhere else, such as Walmart.com or your own website, for a lower price than it is on Amazon, that's often going to cause you to lose the buy box. Amazon's system tracks pricing across the internet, and if it sees a better price somewhere else, it won't feature your offer. A lot of the time, brands want to charge a higher price on Amazon for their product than they charge on their website to account for Amazon's higher fees, but you really can't do that. It will cause you to lose the buy box, and you really won't sell much on Amazon until you fix it. Now, if you had a recent price increase, that could be the issue. If your product was selling at one price and you raised it, that alone can cause you to lose the buy box, even if the new price isn't unusually high. Amazon doesn't like it when there's a big jump in price, and that can often be the issue. This usually happens if the price increased by a lot or if the previous price had been used very consistently for a long time. The next is your FBM shipping metrics. If you're shipping out orders to customers yourself, your FBM shipping metrics can cause you to lose the buy box. For example, a few late shipments can hurt your account's shipping performance, and once those metrics drop, you can lose the featured offer even if your pricing and everything else is fine. Another potential issue is a brand new seller account with no sales history. If you're on a new seller account with no sales and no seller feedback, and you're selling FBM, that often keeps you from winning the featured offer. Amazon hasn't seen enough from your account yet to trust it. This is really common for new accounts, but don't worry, there is a solution, and I'm going to give that to you. Also, a single instance of negative seller feedback can cause the featured offer to drop, even on an account fulfilling through FBA. If you don't catch it and get it removed quickly, it will usually drop your buy box percentage for a day or two, and you'll see a big drop in your sales, and then it will usually come back to normal. This is why it's really worth having some kind of software to alert you anytime you get negative seller feedback so you can act on it immediately. Now, slow shipping speed is also a factor. It's a smaller factor, but it can still play a role. If your shipping speed is slow, you can lose the buy box just for that. Now, this is usually if your shipping speed is really slow, like over 5 days. If everything else checks out and you're still not seeing it come back and your shipping speed is slow, try speeding up the shipping speed to 2 days and just see if that brings the buy box back. If you do that for a day or so and it doesn't work, then you know the shipping speed is likely not the issue. Now we'll go through how to fix each one of these issues. If you're on a new seller account with no sales history and you're not an FBA, the most reliable fix is just to send inventory into FBA. For those of you who don't know, that's where you ship your inventory to Amazon's warehouse and they ship the individual orders to customers as they come in. Now, 80% of the time, that's what I'd recommend for you anyway, even if you were winning the buy box. But a lot of the time, if you're not winning the buy box FBM, you just got to send at least some inventory in there. Even if you don't want to commit to FBA long term, you can just use it temporarily. Send some inventory in, build up some sales history, some seller feedback, and once you've got traction, you can go back to shipping the orders yourself. If you have questions about shipping FBA and that process, you can always comment below and answer them. Now, sometimes FBA isn't an option at all. I once worked with a brand that sold high-end copper sinks. These are handmade, artisan-crafted sinks that usually would cost $1,000 to $3,000 each. Some were even as much as $10,000. Now, they weren't something that you could send into FBA. The brand listed the products, but they did not win the buy box. Without the featured offer, they couldn't run ads on them either. In their case, we waited. It took about a month or two, and during that time, they still got a few sales here and there, even without winning the buy box. And then just one day, it flipped. They won the featured offer on all of their products. Everything went back to normal. And we had just been waiting. We had everything ready to go. When that happened, we just launched the ads and started managing the account like we always do. If you want to speed that process up without FBA, you could try getting outside buyers, people from other platforms such as your email list or your own network, to purchase the product on Amazon, wait, and then leave seller feedback. Of course, there's no guarantee on how long Amazon will make you wait. Now, if you determine a price increase is what caused you to lose the buy box, there's a couple ways to handle it. If the increase was small, you can try just waiting it out. But even with the small increase, you're still losing sales the entire time until this is fixed. And there's no guarantee it comes back just because you wait. So you have to determine whether the price increase is actually worth the cost. Now, if the increase was quite a bit larger, you can try raising the price gradually instead, do some small increases over a few weeks, and sometimes that works. Keep in mind that if you're selling on other platforms such as your website, you'll need to increase the price there first so Amazon doesn't remove the buy box because they found it cheaper somewhere else. Now, if neither of those work, the most reliable fix is just going back to the previous price. If it's a small increase and you think it's justified, you can create a case with seller support and explain it. And we have had a couple times where they will actually somehow manually get the buy box to come back. Now, that's somewhat rare, and it will only work if you've checked everything else and the increase is obviously reasonable. And of course, if you've gone through this whole list and nothing seems to explain the reason why you're not winning the buy box, then you may want to try contacting seller support about that. Now, that only works in certain situations, and it's got to be something where it's clearly obvious that you should be winning the buy box. And most of the time, it's due to a pricing issue. I've really only had this work when the system was treating the prices too high with no real reason behind it. In those cases, we showed proof that the price matches other platforms, the current pricing and historical pricing. Sometimes that would get them to fix it. If you do have to change the price and you think that's the reason, then you could try changing the price everywhere, including Amazon, and then making a case about it showing that the price is consistent. And of course, there might be an issue where you've raised the price everywhere, but Amazon's system still remembers that old price and it's just taking a little while for that to update. That's a situation where seller support might actually be able to help to speed that process up. Now, if the solution seems to be sending inventory to FBA, which is very often the correct solution, in my next video, I break down the differences between FBA and FBM, when each one makes sense, what kind of difference it makes in your sales volume, and other important factors you've got to consider. Click right here to watch that video next.